right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. Welcome to East Hills Middle School and Bethlehem Area School District, and we are here to talk about our electric buses. So thanks for coming, everybody. My name is Mark Stein. I'm the Chief Facilities and Operations Officer here at Bethlehem, and here I wear the buildings and buses hat. So today we're going to talk about the nexus of buildings and buses, and that's bus electrifications, where we plug our buildings or plug our buses into the buildings now. So here in Bethlehem, we take our sustainability seriously, whether it's the deployment of 1.6 megawatts of solar back in 2011 now, adoption of a sustainability commitment about a decade ago, or the conservation of the energy that we do consume and the efficient use of that energy over the last 13 years. That saved our community, our taxpayers, over $20 million. Sorry, PPL, about that. But today we're celebrating the next chapter in our sustainability journey, and that is the unveiling of our two new electric buses. The process started over 2 years ago, believe it or not, to get to this point today. And that process has involved a lot of the folks in the room today, and we're going to hear from a lot of those folks today. And hopefully we'll get to recognize everybody who's played a key role in making it happen. We truly appreciate all that help and support we've gotten over those last 2 years making this day become a reality. So to get things started today, I'd like to pass the baton and introduce our superintendent, Dr. Jack Silva.
Thank you, Mark. First, let me have the honor of welcoming some platform guests with us today. School Director, Dr. Sheila White. Our Supervisor of STEM Education, Mr. Rick Amato. You met Mark. Of course, Senator Lisa Boscola, whose work here has been instrumental in the financing and acquiring of this bus. Thank you, Senator Boscola. Christine Martin, President of PPL Electric Utilities. Thank you, PPL. And of course, our familiar Mayor Reynolds. Thank you, Mayor Reynolds, for being here today and celebrating with us. Two things. One thing that you probably know about electric buses, and two things you might not know. One thing you probably know is that the day-to-day costs of running an electric bus are much less than a traditional diesel bus. Mr. Stein tells me there's only really 4 moving parts in an electric bus, and the price of electricity is much lower than the price of diesel. So having this investment in the 2 buses and the charging station helps us overcome the hump that many school districts have in offsetting the upfront costs that go along that allow us to recover some of those lesser day-to-day costs. So it's a good thing economically. So I think you know that already. 2 things you might not know is that electric vehicles are also a good equity strategy and a student service strategy in the Bethlehem Area School District. There are some parts of our community where there is not a whole lot of open space or grass space, and they have higher rates of asthma particles in the air. And because electric buses' emissions are far less, it means those students in those urban communities have a greater opportunity in their walking to school, going home from school, and not encountering some of the challenges, especially with asthma, that they face while they're in school. So I bet you didn't know that. And I bet you didn't know that there's also an academic or a citizenship component of a school bus. There's some very early research that shows that because an electric bus is such a quiet ride, students, when they're inside of it, talk civilly to each other. As opposed to when if you've ever been in an older diesel bus, kids are yelling to hear each other, you got to yell, and then that contributes to a climate. So I have a feeling that as the world embraces electric buses, it will be to the delight of the bus driver, who is going to have a better opportunity to hear and not just drive the bus safely, but also to have students who are much more enjoying the ride. So those are just some of the things that we're about to learn about electric buses. I know that it's a model of good citizenship and good leadership for a school district to model what's coming up in sustainability. So speaking of good citizenship and leadership, it's my pleasure at this time to invite Mayor Reynolds to the podium for some remarks. Mayor, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Dr. Silva. As I like to say, our most important partner in the City of Bethlehem is the Bethlehem Area School District. And when we launched our climate action plan a few years ago, it was knowing that we had institutions and partners like the school district that have been leading on sustainability for a long time. Yesterday at our State of the City, Dr. Silva did a great job of talking about some of the things that are a partnership between the city and the school district. But at the top of the list is, as I said yesterday, is the idea that we just don't set goals. We find plans and we implement them to get it done. And that's really what separates oftentimes the difference between people that want to do things and people that actually get them done. And the school district is filled with people that actually get things done. And this is an example of that. This is not easy. This is the type of thing that comes up a lot. Why don't we have more electric vehicles? Why can't the school district have electric buses? There's a million reasons. We may hear some of them today. But what you need is you need a commitment and you need a passion to be able to get these things over the finish line. And you also need a team. And I'm sure there are dozens and dozens and dozens of people who deserve a thanks today for being able to get this to where we are to be able to announce this, which is a really, really big deal. When we launched our climate action plan in the City of Bethlehem, we knew that institutions were already doing a lot for sustainability. But what I did not know until I really dove into it was just how long some of our institutions have been committed to it. And hopefully not taking any other comments from another speaker from the school district, is the school district investing in their buildings, investing in sustainable HVAC systems, investing in sustainable energy is a thing that they're doing to be able to cut those energy costs over the long term, to be able to free up other dollars that they can spend on education and investing in our young people. This is another great step in our city's climate action plan, but more than anything else, as a citizen of Bethlehem, as a future parent of the Bethlehem Area School District, it's just proud to be here, to see once again another partnership between the private sector and the public sector as we continue to take steps forward in creating a sustainable city for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Reynolds. We really appreciate your support of the district, and we'll keep doing our best to hold up our end of the bargain. All right, next I'd like to introduce Christine Martin. She is the president of PPL Electric Utilities. I'm going to read a brief bio. So she's new to a lot of us. We kind of know each other, but Christine's a visitor here for the crowd. But so Christine Martin is the president of PPL Electric Utilities, the subsidiary that provides electric delivery service to 1.5 million customers in eastern and central Pennsylvania. PPL Electric Utilities operates and maintains a vast electric delivery system that spans 10,000 square miles and serves a population of more than 3 million people. In her role, Ms. Martin provides executive leadership and strategic direction of public affairs, regulatory strategy, and stakeholder engagement. She leads a team responsible for advancing legislative and regulatory initiatives that best position the company to deliver on its mission for customers and share owners and advance a cleaner energy future. Please help me welcome Ms. Christine Martin.
Thank you so much. I always cringe when someone says they're going to read my bio because I'm not quite sure which bio they have. So let me start by thanking Dr. Silva for the invitation to provide some brief remarks here today. I'd also like to thank Senator Boscola for her leadership in bringing advocacy and support for this that would make this project possible. As we've heard, this is not a new endeavor, but I think we see how public support for this project can make it a reality. And then finally to Mayor Reynolds for continued dedication to the City of Bethlehem. So I will say, in addition to having the pleasure to represent PPL Electric Utilities here, and I have a team that was involved in this project. One thing that wasn't read in my bio is I've been with PPL for more than 20 years. My position prior to this for a number of years was as Chief Sustainability Officer of the corporation. So coming here today to talk about electrification and clean energy and a zero emissions future and seeing that in reality happening here in the Lehigh Valley for the first time with the Bethlehem Area School District is very near and dear to my heart and to what I have focused on for much of my career. So congratulations to the Bethlehem Area School District. This is absolutely a fantastic example of being a leader in electrification, a leader in clean energy. It's a critical component of our path to a net zero emissions future, and these 2 emissions-free electric buses bring benefits to the community and direct benefits to the students. As you heard Dr. Silva talk about emissions and equity, those buses sitting in the parking lot are absolutely a real-life example of how we can bring clean energy and public and private partnership to our communities and usher in benefits. I do have to say, however, as the mother of a middle schooler who complains almost every day about the level of noise on her bus, and usually about the middle school boys. Perhaps if Parkland School District gets some electric buses, she will complain less. We'll see if that comes to pass. It was truly an honor for PPL Electric to partner with the district to make this project a reality. We understand that a smart, resilient, modern grid is absolutely essential to meet the needs of our customers and the changing needs of our customers, but also for the prosperity of our communities and our state. I'm happy to say that the project that we partnered with the school district did not require any significant upgrades to our grid to make this project a reality. And that is testament to the investments that PPL Electric Utilities, with the support of its customers and communities and partners, have been able to make in our grid to make it stronger and more resilient and to help usher in a cleaner energy future. So let me just close by again congratulating the Bethlehem Area School District as a champion in advancing the cleaner energy future. For all of you here today who have provided support for the project, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Martin. There are a lot of folks we're going to get to recognize by the end of this, so hang on, your turn's coming. Next, we get to introduce our general manager at the depot here, Jenny Casepole-Robinson. We're going to talk about more specifics of what the bus means here at the bus depot. Jenny?
I hope you guys will bear with me for just a moment, because unlike some people up here, it's been nearly 8 months since I've spoken in front of a group. Good morning, everyone. This is such an exciting day here at Transportation, and it's a day that I knew was coming, but it is not truly a reality until it's here, and it's just incredibly exciting for me. The initial discussion regarding our EVs began, by my records, 2021.
Over 2 years.
Over 2 years, yes. August 2021. And by January, we were having feasibility studies being completed by our partners, and it became abundantly clear that this was a project that was a priority. The question was not what if, but rather how soon. The Bethlehem Area School District administrators and the school board members yet again demonstrated their visionary styles by committing to a plan and taking it to the next level, where it was intentionally improved and enabled to thrive. I am thankful to the BASD board, Dr. Silva, for having big dreams and for encouraging others to dream big as well. For me, this has been both an enormous opportunity and a challenging educational experience, all wrapped up in 2 bows. The color of those bows is 13432. You should Google that, it's a real thing. On a side note, I've actually read the entire manual for the user guide and the maintenance of the bus, and it's fascinating to those that like to figure out how things work. It is absolutely boring reading if you're not into it at all. Our Transpar team has researched manufacturers of buses and vendors for charging stations. We've extensively studied, reading what feels like every available article and case study related to electric buses. We sought out those that have previously added these vehicles to their fleet and to try to learn from their experiences. Transpar took its nationwide network of talent and applied it at BASD, and both organizations are better for it. However, even the most careful planning doesn't quite compare for the thrill of the experience, which is what I'm feeling today if you pick up on the nervousness in my voice. The transition from theoretical to actual is complete. Electric buses are about 1% of the entire nationwide bus fleet. The American School Bus Council estimates that there could be an additional 10,000 by 2026. It is with great pride that we announce that BASD is now a member of that growing movement. It is an incredible honor to be part of a company that encourages learning by doing and serving a district that stands up boldly to challenges. It is when these traits come together that amazing outcomes are achieved. This time I would like to recognize and thank our benefactors, Senator Boscola, our partners at PPL, Ms. Martin and her team, Jake Murphy of the Transpar Group. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Lisa Boscola, BASD's most tenured driver. Lisa has been a bus driver in the district since 2003. She is a senior member of our transportation department's training team, a member of the Teamsters Union and as union steward. And as a 21-year veteran, she has transported now 3 generations of students, including millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. Please welcome Mrs. Boscola.
I hope my speech can live up to that. Basically, I'm here to go over where we started from when I started driving out here. I want to call it Generation 1. Your first cold day driving out to the BASD yard, and Mr. Burns back there can attest to this, 80% of our fleet was still 5-speed stick shift buses. I drove stick shift for almost 9.5 years, if you can imagine that. Those buses came with metal dashboards. We had crank handles to open and close the door, and that was pretty much it. A lot of the things that we didn't have, there was no technology in the buses, no tablets, no GPS, no wayfinder. The best thing that my cell phone told me was the time, and that was an old flip phone. You'd look on the outside, yep, I'm already 10 minutes late. A lot of the seats didn't move. They were bolted down to the floor. The only way you could move the seat was to get the garage to come out and literally unbolt the seat and physically move it up or back. So I used to carry with me a backpack that I kept books in. War and Peace was one of them because it's nice and thick. And when you climbed into the school bus, I would have to wedge it to my back to see if I could push the clutch all the way to the floor. There was no technology. We had no anti-pollution technology in the engines. You would drive to the yard in the morning and it looked like a mushroom cloud that would come up out of the yard. And that was the carbon burning inefficiently through those old diesel engines. We also walked through it in the yard. I was just telling the gentleman there, you could actually climb in your bus and you could taste the taste of diesel in your mouth because it was that thick in the yard. That is where we started. I want to call it second generation buses. We had automatics that came in and started to get rid of our old clutch fleet. A little bit more anti-pollution mechanisms inside the engine. They started burning cleaner, but the best thing of all, they were all automatic. I thought I had died and gone to bus driver's heaven. No more clutch. I actually counted one day in the morning and I pushed that clutch in almost 1,000 times on just an AM run. And I put over 100,000 miles on Old Bus 38, which was a clutch bus. Over my 21 years, I am just creeping now on 500,000 miles behind the wheel of our Bethlehem Area School buses, and I'm very proud of that. second generation buses, the automatics came in. We had switches to open and close the door. I'm sorry, I get teary about it to this day. AM, FM radios, we had radios, and we thought that was fantastic. Third generation buses. Now we got more automatics that came in, but now we have, with the help of Transpar and the help of our school board, we brought tablets in. We brought bus patrol in, the camera systems that are all on the outside of the vehicles. We have 13 cameras in every single bus that you see. Gone are the days, it was up to the bus driver when somebody had a red stop sign violation. Within split seconds, there was so much description. I had to come up with make and model of the car, who was driving it, was it a male or female, what was the color of the hair, were they wearing glasses? In that split second, as I'm trying to watch my students safely get to where they need to be. So a lot of those violations never came to fruition because we would even call other drivers, hey, did you see that blue Toyota heading down Santee Road? Can you get the license plate for me? A lot of technology has come and changed our job. A lot of technology has made it safer. A lot of technology has taken all those distractions that we used to have as a driver. We brought in the tablets into the third generation. The tablets, now we do our pre-trip and post-trip on it. It's so easy. You get in there, we go over tags, we check everything that it's completely safe on the bus. Now the tablets have every single route we do at your fingertip. Mr. Mayor, you can come drive my bus and you can punch the number in, it's going to tell you where to go. I forgot in the first generation, we didn't have maps. You had to go buy a map. And if anybody here, you can think back pre-cell phones, pre-GPS, there used to be maps in the front of the yellow page book that I tore out, and this is how we drove. Maps on the lap while you're sitting here trying to shift so you knew where you were going. The tablets brought navigation. Now we're looking at the fourth generation, which now is the EV buses. The technology astounds me every time that I look at it. I never thought in my day that I would have the opportunity to even drive one, let alone then be part of our fleet. And now I can truly say with all the technology and the anti-pollution, that big cloud of carbon smoke over the depot is gone. And it's safer for drivers, it's safer for everybody who even lives in this area. So the fourth generation, it's going to be cleaner, safer for our students, our drivers, and our environment, and we look forward and thank everybody here. You guys put so much effort into it. I know it. I can't express that enough. Fifth generation buses, I guess we'll all have to get back here together in 6 years and we'll discover what that one is. But of all the changes I've seen through, now moving on 22 years, the fact that our district has embraced all the technology, Transpar has helped us with so much technology. It's safer for our kids, safer for our drivers, safer for our environment. Thank you.
Lisa, thank you. And I don't know, just for a minute, think about all the jobs in the Bethlehem Area School District, what we do. I mean, there's teachers in the classroom, take care of the kids. We serve, I think, 10,000 meals a day. But of all the jobs we do, think about the job of the bus driver. Probably one of the, if not the toughest job in the school district. You're the first face students you see every day, the last one to send them on their way home. And navigating the roads with the little cherubs that are just always wonderful behind you as you're trying to avoid road rage on the street before you and keep safe order on your bus is amazing. It's a lot. And a big round of applause for Lisa. That's amazing. 500,000 miles in that environment, toughest job. All right, next I'd like to bring to the podium our Senator Lisa Boscola. She was the one responsible for getting us the funds to make this all come together. So Senator Boscola.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm so excited to be here because, the students here, I did graduate from East Hills and went over to Freedom. Well, I also started off at Governor Wolf. But I will tell you that I wasn't one on the buses because I lived only maybe about a mile away from here and grew up there. And so I walked to school every day. I kind of liked it except when the weather was bad. Back then, even when it snowed, you went to school. So, no. Well, that's a whole different story. Anyway, so Lisa, when you were talking, you reminded me of, because I did walk to school and a lot of my friends lived, around here, we would smell that diesel back then. And a lot of the fields over there, sometimes we would walk across the fields because my friends lived about, we didn't really take the street. We went and walked across the field. That's when we really smelled all that diesel, and we knew it was awful back then. So I really appreciate that you said that. It's kind of one of the reasons why I was motivated to do this, and another is that several years ago, I have been really in Harrisburg pushing for EV charging stations all over this Commonwealth and using state funds to do that. And when I saw the opportunity with the electric school buses that I saw, there's only a handful out there, by the way, in this Commonwealth. There's a couple in Chester County and a couple outside of Harrisburg. And I looked at this and go, how can I get this in the Bethlehem Area School District? This is my alma mater. Like, well, how can I do this? Because I believe in it so strongly. And I approached appropriations chairs and finally figured out that the Department of Education had some dollars in jobs and training. And I'm like, went right to the appropriations chairman and said, can I use this money in the Bethlehem Area School District for EV charging stations and the buses that come with it? Well, the opposite. And how much money can I secure? Because these buses are not cheap. They're very expensive. However, if we can get this moving, this is like a pilot project here now in the Bethlehem Area School District. The rest of the Commonwealth and other school districts are going to be looking at this school district as to guidance on what to do in the future when they want to secure some EV buses. And thank you, PPL, for all your efforts and just trying to say, hey, we can do this. We're not going to take more load off the grid. And you helped the Bethlehem Area School District, transition into this. And of course, the mayor was instrumental because I recognize that he had a plan on sustainability, which he's right about. A lot of people do shotgun things here and there, but there's no real looking down the future and how we're going to do sustainability for your city or your state or the Lehigh Valley. So I looked at that and I thought this would be the perfect way to secure some state dollars from our budget to get these EV buses here. My future goal is, now that these are going to operate, is to secure more funding so that you get more buses in the future. And my real goal is to look at the Bethlehem Area School District, how they're doing so well with this, and then securing more dollars in the state budget so that more school districts can get EV buses, and then we can get more than just 2. So this is the pilot. It's working out so well as I speak, and I know they're not cheap. I know front-end investment in infrastructure is the hardest thing to do sometimes. That's the tough part. After you get going, and I think this is what's going to happen in the Bethlehem Area School District as the buses start moving, and we know that this is great for students, great for the environment, great for our community, that we're going to see more in the future. So let's go. And how are you kids feeling today? What do you think about this press conference? Are you into it? You got out of class today a little bit? All right. You appreciate that anyway. Well, what do you think about these buses and, going electric? What do you think?
I think it's a good step.
I like that, a good step. And that's what this is. I know we have hundreds of buses out there. This is only 2, but we're going to get more. I guarantee you that. Thank you.
That's a summary of the goal. Every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a first step, right? So we're taking that first step right now. So I wanted to recognize a lot of other key partners that help bring this together. You don't just walk down to the local electric bus dealer and pick a bus up off the lot and drive it home. A lot more goes into the process to make it happen. So going back that, August 21, January 22, our first conversations were with PPL. Believe it or not, we will take a tour outside here in a little bit, but when you walk outside and look to your right, you'll see nice new shiny overhead lines that go to a brand new power pole out in the field that goes into our lot. So you can't just go pick up your electric bus off the local car dealer, and you can't just also plug it into the outlet in the wall. So we also had to do some infrastructure upgrades to support this. So the team at PPL, led by John Kutcher back there, Javi Nunez, I see Angie back there, they were with us every step of the way to get to the point today where we can show up with our bus, plug it in, and make it work. So thank you very much for getting us to this point. Also, those early conversations have to get a shout out to a couple of behind the scenes guys, and that's at Transpar. We heard from Jenny and the efforts they've been going through here, but early on, when Jake Murphy back here from Transpar, he was instrumental in engaging with Senator Boscola's office, and I see Joe Kelly back there, those early conversations to say, hey, here's the need, and what are the opportunities, and what can we do? So we're very thankful for their part in this as well. Once we got the buy-in, now we have some money. All right, what do we do? You need to build something to support it, that infrastructure piece. So we have our district engineer partners at Dewey Engineering. See Reef Fazil here, Bill Niswender, our project manager. We had to design a project. Dean Batten, electrical engineer, helped make that happen. We had to hire a contractor to install those chargers. We have Hobbs & Company here. I see Matt and Ed from Hobbs. That was our electrical contractor who did the digging, the underground work, the concrete to get those chargers set out there. And our charger, right? You can pick a bus, that's great, but you got to pick a charger as well. So we have InCharge chargers out there. Mike Heller, saw somewhere here, there he is in the back. We appreciate the work getting those chargers here. You'll see out there is one charger. We're going to have one bus out there plugged in to our InCharge charger. It's fully juiced up, ready to go if we need to run. But other bus is sitting right outside the front of the salt bin, so we can take a tour and walk around there in a few minutes. We talk about the electric bus. Well, we had to buy it from somebody. And we have with us here Mike David. He's the director of EV sales for Roarer Bus out in central PA. And he is the one who has provided us the Thomas Julie bus. And we selected from several different manufacturers out there. We thought the Thomas solution was the best fit, the best value, the best cost. And here today we have two Thomas vehicles on the lot. And just for today, we had a little bit of curveball with Mother Nature, so wanted to thank our host, Dave Horvath, our principal, who let us invade in his building here so we didn't get soaked outside this morning, and also Ross McCary, who helped take care of this awesome little setup here indoors on short notice. So we have for you now, if the end of the formal program here, outside we have the two vehicles. Feel free to poke around. We'll be around to ask questions or to answer any questions you might have. Take some pictures out there at the charger. If you like, we are ready to go for a bus ride when everyone's ready. We'll pile on a bus, student style. We'll cram in two to a seat, face forward, hands to yourself, and we'll take a ride. No hanging out the windows, all right. And we'll take a ride around the block, and you guys can see and experience for yourselves what our students, community will get to see and experience when those buses are rolling around town here very shortly. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate all the support from everyone in the room.